Some big players out there are saying that XRP is dead and it'll never reach $3. I don't think that's true. I think we got a chance to break $3, but we need a few things to go our way. We'll talk price action. Saylor bought some more. Metaplanet bought more. But the gold ETFs are roaring, which is telling us that the markets are not into the risk just yet. So how do we go from safe haven into risky crypto? Well, let's talk about it in the current events.
I say lots of naughty things, so here's your warning.
And happy Monday to all you pimps, players, and hustlers out there. And for the ladies, it's girls gone stable, according to Stellar. I don't know, I kind of like my girls a little crazy. That way we have a little fun in between the sheets. Now, before we get into the crypto news and the fun that ensues, because I'm telling you, players are saying that XRP $3 dead. I'm saying it's still alive, but we need a few things to happen. We get into your comments. Why? Because you, the viewer, matter most. Joel Vittoria dropping support on the channel. Thank you. And a picture of a cute doggy with a matching shirt. Lady, you got it going on. Says, thank you for the valuable info. My family watches you every day. Just saved us from losing an excellent choo-choo nachos. Yeah, I'll have an XLM deep dive story that you need to see linked at the end. It'll open your eyes to a whole bunch of stats. It's even causing a heck of a conversation on Twitter. That's right, someone stirred up the hornet's nest. This guy. NYS Gonzalez says, let's take a look at that card collection. We've got PSA 10 autos over there. We got 1989 Carta, Super Mario Bros. 3 over there. And we've got Pokemon stuff over there. Which ones you want to look at? Yeah, slabs, PSA 10s all day, baby. G Bishop says, hey, Klaus, you and your sign are 1 in 1 million. Thanks for all the hard work. You mean the choo-choo bitches sign? Stick around to the end and maybe I'll put it on. Bitcoin sitting at 109,933. ETH is 2474 XP. We're going to talk price at the end because I still believe we can reach $3. And within this year. 219 is the price right now. ADA, check this out. Struggling 56 cents. Picoin struggling at the 50-cent mark. Doge 16.5. HBAR, we had some 13-cent buying opportunities. We're back up to 15 cent. All right, Metaplanet buys another 1,000 BTC. Issues 200 million more in bonds to acquire more. That's right. Japan's Metaplanet. This is Japan's version of Saylor Strategy. Bought a whole bunch more with an with an average price of 107,000. All right, cool. Sharing that with you. They've got a whole bunch of BTC. Think about this. You got a bunch of companies out there that are owning a bunch of BTC, and a bunch of these companies are buying at like high prices, like where BTC is 100,000 plus. So any like big time negative event we have is gonna shake the shit out of a ton of these companies. And if they don't have the cash on hand, that's the key. If they don't have the cash on hand and they have a lot of debt, and if they're not raising a lot of capital, right, if they don't have good cash flow, they're going to be screwed. So they're going to be forced to sell their Bitcoin. So we got to keep an eye on that. So look for companies that are buying BTC. If they don't have cash on hand and if they have a lot of debt, they could be in trouble on the next downswing. Oh, Strategy bought some more. They bought almost 5,000 more BTC, bringing their total holdings up to 597,000 Bitcoin. So now, Bitcoin ownership seems very heavily centralized, doesn't it? Strategy acquired almost 5,000 BTC for nearly $500 million for an average price of 106,000. Damn. This latest purchase brings the total to 597,000. Whoo, baby. Their average cost right now is 70,982 per BTC. I'm highlighting this because every Monday for the last 11 weeks, Saylor has bought BTC. Now, here's the thing though. You got these players out here buying BTC trying to get you to FOMO into it. Like, oh, bro, there's only so much BTC. You're not going to... Shut up, okay, Saylor? The problem you got is this. Gold ETF inflows hit a 2-year record high. So you got boring gold on one hand, and you got crazy risky crypto on the other hand. So if the markets right now are going record into gold ETF buying, that's telling you that the market is like, yo, things are way too unstable right now. We're kind of freaking out with all the risk. We're not happy with crypto. That's why you see the altcoins struggling price-wise, while BTC is only like 3% away from its all-time high, right? BTC is looked at as digital gold, still risky, but the least risky of the cryptos, outside of stablecoins, okay? But when it comes to the rest of the crypto markets, you got your meme, you got your utility, right? You got all that kind of stuff. Those are considered super risky. So if gold is roaring, it's hard for crypto to roar. So that's kind of one of the indicators you want to look for, right? So if you're talking XRP $3, one of the big factors you got to keep in mind is as long as gold keeps roaring, it's hard for crypto to roar because gold can suck up a lot of money. The total known holdings in gold exchange traded funds, ETFs, have surged to their highest level in 2023, breaking a 4-year streak of consistent outflows. This is big. The renewed investor appetite for gold comes as Bloomberg Galaxy Crypto Index Strategies nears levels since early 2021. Notably, this divergence is raising concerns about crypto's ability to reclaim its leadership in the risk asset space. That's exactly what I've been talking about in this channel for a long time. In order for crypto to move, you need rates to come down, which makes money less expensive and less risky. You also need geopolitical tensions to come down. You need a bunch of things to be less risky. On a June 30th post on X, McGlone shared the data showing that of June 27, 2025, gold ETF holdings, this is nuts, have surpassed 104 metric tons, while the BCGI hovered at 859. This metric signals waning investor enthusiasm for major crypto and currencies, basically saying there is a steady rise in gold ETFs along with a fading momentum in digital assets. And you're like, bro, what are you talking about, the fading momentum in digital assets? Well, let's bring up a couple of them right now. And what I'm talking about is this, all right? Is you got a bunch of cryptos out there that over the last 6 months or so, let's be real here, right? Let's go to those 1-year charts. Over the last 6 months have been failing to hold on to their highs, right? I've just been showing a few up on the screen. They had their initial pumperoni on the whole election regime shift here in the United States, and now all of a sudden, they're struggling to hold on to those gains as gold is roaring. Here's the 5-year chart of gold. That doesn't look like it's stopping anytime soon, does it? No, look, slow sideways action from 2021 into 2023, and then 2024, homegirl just starts taking on off. So, pay attention to gold. Okay, now let's swing it on over to XRP specifically. $3 XRP might not be possible now. I disagree. I think it's totally possible. Here's the thing. What was the biggest thing for XRP in the last year? Well, it was the presidential election, right? We saw price before November was around the 50-cent mark, and then boom shakalaka, it got us above $3. So it's obvious XRP can get there. It's just, what is it going to take to get us there again? Well, what about some of the crypto-specific regs? What about the Clarity Act? See, a lot of companies don't want to buy XRP now because there's no regs protecting it. And I get it. A lot of the bros and gals out there can talk about, oh, but Torrest gave us clarity. No. That's one judge's decision, which can be erased by a higher court. And a lot of other judges out there, specifically in California, there's 2 judges right now in cases that call XRP a security. So they don't even like register what Torrest says is law. No, that was her interpretation of it. So what we really need is regs, because right now, what do we have? All we have is executive orders. So if we got some juicy regs, I might not be reporting on Metaplanet buying BTC. I might be reporting on, say, another company buying XRP. I might not be talking about Strategy buying BTC. I might be talking about yet a different company buying XRP because the regs would be there. And if you got a whole bunch of big companies buying it, maybe the chart, instead of a constant decline that we've seen over the last year, would look like BTC's chart over the last year and look like it's going up and hold its price action near all-time highs. See, so all the buying that you're seeing from Metaplanet, Strategy, and all the other players out there, it's giving BTC a much stronger floor and is constantly keeping BTC near its all-time highs. So in order to get XRP up to this $3 mark, and essentially what this article is saying is you got a whole bunch of moving averages going on that's acting as a really, really tough ceiling. If you like chart analysis and so forth, this is linked in the description below. Heck, all the articles you're seeing in this video, it's all linked in the description below. But essentially what they're saying is like, look, because of the charts, you can't make it. Well, what I'm telling you is the charts weren't able to predict that when we got a new president, this thing went boom. The charts cannot predict when the Clarity Act is going to pass. The charts cannot predict when companies are going to start buying XRP as a strategic reserve asset. And companies are going to start buying it once we have the legal clarity to do so. So I get it. People can love Torrest all you want, but what Torrest said is not law. It's her interpretation of the law. So what we really need are the reg-a-ronies to make this happen. What else do we need? We need Jerome Powell cutting rates. Yeah, less risk. I shared with you earlier. Why is gold absolutely roaring and gold ETFs absolutely roaring? Because there's so much risk right now. So when there's a lot of risk, players go to the boring markets like gold in order to hedge, right? So you want risk to go down, you need rates to go down. When is that going to happen? Late third quarter going into the fourth quarter. When are we going to get regs? Third quarter going into the fourth quarter. So can XRP hit $3 again? Why, yes, it most definitely can. When we get a few things to swing our way, and those things I've discussed in this video. No, you're not going to see a EMA chart that talks about it, because EMA charts don't talk about political events. EMA charts can't predict what an election outcome is going to do for the price of your favorite. An EMA chart is not going to tell you when regs are going to kick in or when Jerome Powell is going to cut rates. All they do is give you mathematical averages based on the past, not events that are going to happen in the future. So do I think XRP can hit $3 this year? Of course I do. But things need to go our way, and some of those things are regs, rates. We need gold to chill out a little bit. We need a few political things to happen our way. We need some people in the Middle East to chill the F on out and not kind of tank the markets in. We need the risk to go away. And that's been the biggest thing, is the market right now has been gobbling up gold because there's a lot of risk, inflation risk, geopolitical tension, and that's been the biggest problem we've been dealing with, is inflation. And now that that's kind of curbed, we've seen other things kind of spark up. So yes, it is possible. Is it likely? Well, it depends. Do you think the government's going to get regs done in 2024? Or I'm sorry, in fourth quarter of 2025? Do you think Jerome Powell is going to be cutting rates later this year? Do you think the Middle East is going to be calm? Do you think, you see my point? You need all this stuff to line up to make it happen. And the whole thing is the strategies, the metaplanets, and all those players out there, they're buying BTC because BTC is looked at as a commodity just like gold. So if we get those regs out there and it reclassifies XRP and a lot of our favorite cryptos out there as commodities, well, then they're going to be able to look at some of our favorites like that as gold, and they're going to be able to gobble it up. And then when I do these stories on Monday, because I've been doing it now for how long, when I do these stories, I'm going to be doing reports on, oh, company X just bought 500,000 XRP at a price of, yeah, exactly. But until we get the regs and until things kind of calm down with the risk, companies are going to they're kind of going to go with the boring stuff. And I get it, right? I get it. You've seen some of the riskier alts out there have really just eroded. And some of the not so risky alts have eroded too, but they've eroded for a different reason. One of them being Stellar's XLM. That video is popping up on the screen right now. I take a deep dive. I share with you some concerns, some eye-opening stats, and yeah, it's not me making the news, it's me reporting the news. Choo-choo what? Oh, wait, here's the sign. I got you back. Choo-choo. Hold on, I got you. Choo-choo, bitches. Yeah, love it.